I was writing this on my LinkedIn today itself, right? If even after spending 10, 15, 20 years in corporate world, if you are still concerned about your job safety, you should have been a bit proactive on handling things, planning things better. Hello everybody. Today I was planning to talk about Accenture and some dark areas of Accenture. But somehow I felt like this topic is little bit urgent in nature and we see layoffs happening everywhere. So I picked this one first, and if you want me to talk about Accenture's dark side, you have to drop me a message in the comment box below. So what we are talking today, we are talking about the layoffs. I'm pretty sure you know this trend started with, you know, Meta, right? Meta did huge large scale firing. I think 15-20,000 people. I forgot the exact number. And then Amazon jumped in. Amazon said they are cutting 18,000 jobs. Now yesterday only Microsoft announced that they will be cutting about 10,000 headcounts, which is roughly 5% of workforce. Google had just came up with today on I think 20th of January. Google just announced that they will be cutting 12,000 headcounts. And these are so Netflix and all that. I'm not even going there. The startup space, leave it aside that one, okay? Because that space is badly hurt. So we are ignoring that. But what happened to these FAANG companies? Even there are discussions, there are rumors that maybe Apple would be doing the same someday. So all the FAANG companies, Facebook, Netflix, Microsoft, Google. So Microsoft was not considered in that before you point that one out. But it is a big name, right? What happened? How did we reach there? To understand that, you will have to be bit patient, okay? 10-15 minutes. I think it's important to understand how this all started. 2017, 18, 19, everything was all linear, right? The companies were reporting their normal set of results. And then all of a sudden COVID happened. Everything came to standstill. We were locked inside. There was no supply. We were not able to buy things. Companies were not able to produce things. So all that, you know, gave everybody so many jitters around the world. The governments were in panic, people were in panic. What governments did as a result of that? They printed a lot of money, right? When they printed a lot of money, they distributed it. They distributed it, especially Europe, America, Britain, Canada. They all gave a lot of money to their citizens, right? And not just that, they brought interest rate to zero. So if somebody was paying a 3% interest rate or a 2% interest rate in developed countries, they had to now all of a sudden pay 0%, while their expenses were all zero because there was nothing to spend on. Same way, businesses were allowed, that means a lot of these loans were waived off. Businesses were allowed, extra time to repay their debts. Everything was done. What all that did was it created a lot of money in the system. As soon as the lockdown was lifted, people started spending that money which they got either through waive-offs of loan, through direct transfer from the government, or through various schemes. So they and also because they had not spent money, so that all accumulated. As soon as the market opened, right, things were getting to normal. What happened was people started buying things disproportionately. When people started buying things, the demand just skyrocketed, right? Can you believe that the demand just skyrocketed? And when the demand just skyrocketed, the supply side fell short, right? Now we saw supply side disruptions because China was still in lockdowns at times, and sometimes it was functioning well. So then the supply side disruptions happened. The demand started peaking and supply side issues started happening, and the companies saw that there is an urgency to move towards the digital transformation side, and they started preponing their expenses on technology side. What that resulted in extra spending by a lot of companies on improving their infrastructure so that they can support the demand. That money went to these bigger companies like Microsoft, Google, and all that. Likewise, the same happened with Apple also. When you have extra money, you will buy devices, right? So the sale of luxury items started growing big. That was one side of it. When that demand started spiking, the companies thought maybe this is a robust demand, okay, and now they need to hire people to support that kind of demand. What companies did is, because the demand spiked, they started hiring a lot of staff, right? Now, once they hired a lot of staff, what happened in 2020 22 in the beginning, we saw Russia Ukraine war, and that brought another dimension of it. That means another disruption. The commodity prices started peaking up. All these disruptions were for anybody very hard to imagine how they will unfold. Even today, these all problems has not subsided. So because the system had extra money, right? The startups got huge funding from the private equity players. When the startups got a lot of money, they also started hiring and expanding. While the established players were already seeing the demand, startups also started catching up. All that resulted into a lot of hiring while the demand was at the peak. But what happened is, as soon as that Russia Ukraine war started happening, all that demand kept on just fell down. Now companies were fearful that how this war will pan out. A lot of times you saw NATO, if it comes into war, how Russia will respond, can it become nuclear war, all that. So companies started getting bit defensive on their expenditure. As soon as companies started getting defensive, the demand got demand lost the momentum. And when the demand was not there and the staff were already there, so that means the demand has come down and the staff is already there, what happens? Tell me. You have to bring that down. You will remove the extra liabilities from your company. And who are these liabilities? So there we are now coming to our core topic. How do we assess? How do we know if we are under a threat? Here it is. Here are some broad points. When they have been fired, either they are managers because they become very costly, either they are very senior resources, they will become a liability soon, or they are support departments because support departments are not needed when there is no hiring. And also the contractors, because contractors means they are short-term employees, right? The companies are willing to pay little extra to the short-term employees because of the hiring demand, because of the high demand. We need to look at the layoffs from employee side. Imagine you spending 10-15 years in the corporate world. How have you approached your job or career in those 10-15 years is very important. I was writing this on my LinkedIn today itself, right? If even after spending 10-15-20 years, 10 would be little less, but 15-20 years in corporate world, if you are still concerned about your job safety, maybe you missed the bus. You should have been a bit proactive on handling things, planning things better. What things could you have planned better? One, you could have done a business continuity plan. That means any business, if you see, they always have a backup plan. How would they work in case of a failure, let's say of a site, of a region? And if you are from cloud world, you all know these terminologies, right? Region, site, geography. So the second part is skill improvement. Everybody, we all need to improve our skills. Are they in demand in the market presently? That's we need to analyze ourselves on. Wherever the jobs are, you must lead that migration. This is a big migration. So if somebody started with, let's say, legacy technology, They must keep on changing that technology and reach their end goal. That is the second thing. Third, did you save for those, those days enough? Did you save enough for those days? Ideally, you should always keep, your income and expense in certain ratio. 50% of your money ideally should be saved. If 50% is too much, then at least 30-40% money should be saved for future use. Then what is the backup plan? I remember I had a friend, right, who he always used to ask this question: if your company fires you tomorrow, how much of your salary in percentage terms can you still earn without any worry? That means if you are earning 1 lakh rupees, can you earn 50,000 rupees without any worry? Can you earn 70,000? If you can earn more than that, so what is the backup plan are you preparing? Do you have that in place? Maybe there are some more ways you should look at your journey. So please, the idea here is lot of macroeconomic events are not in your control. What is in your control is you do plan yourself in a better way. That second, don't trust your company, your manager to save you. They will only do whatever suits the company and whatever they are asked to do. Okay, so do not rely on anybody. Trust yourself, work on a plan, and do not really worry of job safety when you have no control on it. Thank you.